Hello? Hello, hello? Hello, is anyone there? Hello? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yuri, Riri, are you ready to hear me? Woo, shit. Ugh. Hold on one second, guys. I haven't streamed on YouTube in a while, so I wouldn't normally get some beats, but I feel like for YouTube, you need some lo-fi. Some royalty free lo-fi. So let's do free. Hey, Sora-san. Unfortunately, the lag's gonna be a bitch on this one. Okay. That shouldn't be too loud. I'll lower it to about there. Yeah, I know. I'm still setting some stuff up. Let's see. Some lo-fi beats to shit on Horizon. It's gonna be an interesting stream. Tyrone isn't streaming on Twitch because what did he say? I think he has to do some family stuff, so he's not doing that. Also, I do have a new stream goal. It took me a while to figure it out. I think the next thing I go for is a stream deck. So let me get Streamlabs open and change that shit. It's not really a manic episode because I don't want to use that moniker. This is more of like an interesting live stream discussion that I think people would just enjoy as a conversation. If I do this with, well, I'll do it with Twitch because technically it is the Twitch Streamlabs. I'm just also using it for YouTube's. What's up, Static? How are you doing, bro? Hold on one second. So the representation thing kind of gets into the Horizon drama. Also, I gotta fucking add the chat to the thing. So let's see. No, not the custom donation page. I don't care about that. I care about... Oh, they've changed so much on Streamlabs. That's how I know I haven't been using Streamlabs properly. Fuck. Why are you annoyed about the Yamato fan art? What's going on with the Yamato fan art? Let's see. Custom tip page, switch panels. They have changed so much. And it low-key annoys me. Widgets. It's probably under widgets. And I need the donation goal. And we're going to change it to in that goal. And then we're going to, you might see people you haven't seen last time since you used the YouTube stream layout. Oh shit. You became a fucking member? I think you're like the first guy to become a member of Sora-san. I'm not fucking surprised, but I appreciate it anyway. Oh, it's that whole pronouns bullshit because it's obvious Yamato's doing a joke because she idolizes Odin. She views herself as Odin, and because Odin is a man, that's why she puts herself as a man. But instead of recognizing, but obviously One Piece has never tried to make that conversation. So that's not what it is. I've seen it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know people are gonna do what they want to do. So fuck it, I guess. I also need to look up how much a stream deck is too, because I don't want to like make the donation go higher than it needs to be. Stream deck. This is obviously like bullshitting. Oh wow, it goes from different ranges depending on which version of stream deck you buy. Hey, Lightning, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate you too. Let's say I wanted to shop now. By the way, Bayonet Digimon is known as Bellstarmon. That's interesting. I have no words for that one. That's a hell of a... It says 150, but I don't know if I believe that to be 150. Or is that Is that something else? You know what? I'll put it like 165 because of tax, and then that'll be the goal. So 165, and then we'll make this. It's obviously 0. And then the end date will be. Let's see. Me and Soros are huge fans. I should expect it, but still. I'll say fucking like September. Alright, cool. That should be that. And then let me get the YouTube chat up on stream like it's supposed to be. Because we're going to get into it, but I want to make sure I got that up. What the hell was this? That might be the alert box for... Let's see. Is this one? It is this one. I just have to change the pop out chat. And it's... I want to say this is the URL thing they want. Let's check. Sorry for the haphazard beginning. I apologize. I really do. I want to say is this. Oh, that's right. I had to disconnect one first. Yep, that's not it. Hold on. Restore chat. What graphics? I use a NVIDIA GTX 2060. Copy video URL. I forgot they want the video URL, not the chat URL. That's what hoed me. That's what ruined things. Let me know if the audio's too loud for the let me know if the audio's too loud for the lo-fi beats. I don't think they're going to be, but just in case. Boom. Hey, there we go. Where's your pogs? I don't know where your pogs are. What's up, Antrite? Yeah, I don't have work tomorrow, so that's probably the reason why this is doing. Alright, cool. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to add on here? That's... I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to check right now. Then I have Streamlabs or alerts for donations. I think we're good. I think that's all the stuff we need to put on here. So we're going to leave that in the corner and we're going to talk. Maybe shift the camera around here so that the chat isn't... Yeah, that's good. All right, cool. So, yo, what's up, guys? We haven't streamed on YouTube in so long, it's astounding. But thank you, Lightning and Sorsan, for becoming members. What's up, guys? Revolver and Try. Oh, wow. Cornelius, that's a new name. I don't know if I recognize you. Oh, yeah, because you get the emotes on here. I forgot. It's been... I set up the member thing so long and, like, no one ever fucking used it, so I completely forget. I completely forget that I put the emotes in here, too. But that was something that YouTube let me do. The YouTube new thing it's all right. It's not crazy, but it's all right. We'll see how bad the lag is. That's going to be my main thing. How bad the lag is going to be. But we're already like 16 minutes into it, and we haven't really gotten to the main topic. So the main topic is pretty much based around Horizon. So Horizon Forbidden West gameplay came out. How do you become a member? I think, isn't it just like a button or something? It's a button on YouTube that you can click. It's probably on my main channel. It might show up on the stream. And I think it's like, is it $5 a month? I think. That's how long it's been since I've had anyone even bothered to touch it. That's how you know I'm fucked up. Hold on. I can check real quick though. Let's see. Yeah, there's the membership thing. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's $3.99. Okay, cool. That's even cheaper than I thought it would be. I also can add more emojis, so I'll do that later. Yeah, it should just be a join button. So it's $4 and you get access to emotes and badges and stuff. And because no one ever did it, I haven't come up with any other extra things. But if the more people who join it, it'll give me more of a reason to really work on it. Oh my goodness. Yo, what the fuck? Sora-san, sit your ass down, yo. What the fuck? Oh, that's why I need to turn off one of the damn things. It's probably that one. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you for the donation. Holy shit. I have more emojis to add on to the membership thing. I just hadn't because I didn't have access to do it. Now I think I do, so I can do that. But good God, you man. I appreciate the support, yo. So if you guys want to become members, I'll come up with stuff for us to have member. I might do like member only streams or member only like gaming sessions on YouTube, so you guys can like take advantage of it. But for right now, I didn't know. You fucking madman though, Sora-san. You fucking madman. Let's get to the goddamn topic, alright? So, Sora-san never feels like he competes. He just spends a lot of money on me, and I feel bad because I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm at that level. But I don't want to. That's why I try to be very straightforward about like putting out shit though. Like when I got the Elgato thing, I posted on Twitter, and I think it was Lightning and Sora-san specifically, I think, because they were the ones who donated the most. I think, what was the other thing? I just had it up. I do that. I try to do that every time I get a donation thing. I'll go buy it within like the next day, and then I'll be like, hey, here it is. Thank you guys for the support. But I appreciate it. I'm not. Wow, you're fucking savage, Static. Like, no, you don't want me to clap cheeks on stream. All right, so let's get to the main topic, guys. I apologize. Jesus Christ. So Horizon Forbidden West footage. So if I ignore the chat, it's because I want to get through the main topic. So Horizon Forbidden West footage came out earlier this week on Sony State of Play. And the conversation from the game looking gorgeous and adding a lot of features that the original game was lacking. I own the original game, I just haven't fucking played it. But instead of the conversation being about that, what the conversation essentially turned into was 30 frames per second and Aloy's face. And man, the conversation around Aloy's face has been absolutely ridiculous, and I want to address it, but people don't understand. I feel like the people. So here's the gist of the argument. A lot of some fans were like, "Man, she has like a fat face," or "I don't like the way her face looks in this game compared to what it looked like in the other game." And then you got specifically girls, but there are some other Twitter users, obviously, that are guys that are doing it, or non-binaries, whatever sexuality or gender you want to go with, who are like, you guys have never seen a real woman before. Like, and what trips me out is that, like, how is that a response? If I told you I don't like the way new Dante looks, is your response to me gonna be, well, I've never seen a man before? Yeah, because my stream doesn't say anything about anything bad. It still says excellent status, so that could just be on your end, Lightning. But essentially, that's what the conversation is. Like, I don't like the way she looks. Some fans went out of their way to make her look more attractive and be like, they should hire the fans to do her face. And it's like, and then their response always, in the response I kept saying was, you guys have never seen real women before. You guys don't have girlfriends. And it makes me mad because, like, if it was reverse, motherfuckers, you couldn't get away with saying some shit like that. If a girl was like, man, new Dante doesn't look that attractive, or older Dante in 5 doesn't look that attractive, and the dude in response goes, you must not have had dick before, motherfuckers would be all over him like, how is that a proper response? But women are out here saying that shit like, you never had a girlfriend before. I'm like, how we in 2021, we're talking about like proper representation and all this talk of inclusivity, and you got motherfuckers out here still saying, but you ain't getting no ass. Isn't that toxic masculinity? Isn't that what that is? Or toxic femininity? But we're talking about Alloy's phase, Red Dragon. But like, to get into specifics, because we do need to address, it's more based around the history, and I feel like the people critiquing all right, so the people critiquing the people who are talking about Alloy's face don't understand the reason why this is even an issue for people in the first place. So I'm going to explain. I would say since the Anita, pretty much around the Anita Sarkeesian era, when she first started getting popular, and yeah, Miss Click was on some bullshit. And you know what made me mad, bruh? Miss Click put out that fucking picture recently. She tweeted a picture of her and Alloy, like when people are mansplaining because they don't know what a normal woman looks like. And you know what killed me about that picture, that photo that she has on her Twitter? Her face looks slimmer than Alloy's. So even by her own fucking standards, Alloy's face looks fat. It's such a stupid ass statement. If you go, I don't want to pull up the picture because it might turn into some shit. But it makes me mad because I'm like, Miss Click, your face is slimmer than Alloy's. Are you joking? Go on her Twitter and look up that picture she posted that has her and Alloy making the same expression. Her face looks slimmer than Alloy's. So even by average woman standards, she still has a fat face. Shit, this shit was stupid. This shit was so dumb. But people need to understand the history of why people were complaining in the first place. Anita Sarkeesian brought forth this whole era of women and fucking of women and social justice warriors who kept clamoring on about they don't like the way women are represented in games. They don't like the way women are shown off in games. They don't like the lack of women in games. And at a core level, I don't think any gamer was like, I don't want more women in my games. I don't think any guy cared about women being in games or women getting representation. You want to know the problem that came from that? It wasn't that women were being in games. It's that the gimmick of certain games became, it's a woman. It's the same thing that happens with black people and even in movies and television. Your race or the thing that makes you different is your gimmick to get into the film. It's like, it's not, oh, here's a cool character who happens to be a woman or who happens to be black or who happens to be like a lesbian or pansexual or non-binary. No, your whole character is that trait. Your blackness, your person of color, your race, your gender, your non-binary, your sexuality, you being gay, all that shit. And so what ended up happening is that a lot of games, a lot of specifically Western games, got fucked with on multiple goddamn levels. People started, oh, well, we don't like. The best example of that is Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda is literally a game that panders to that entire demographic. And what I find hilarious is that people don't get offended when they change the character, when they change the design of a male character, but you get fucking mad as shit when, like, how is it that men are allowed to be ranged from ugly looking and grotesque from like Resident Evil, some of the Resident Evil guys, to absolutely stunning and hot and super unrealistic. But now it became not even an issue of having women in games. They also had to be realistic women. Once again, another reason why I'm not a fan of the realistic art style in Western games is because it allows for this dumb shit to show up. And that's not, and listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. A lot of the big budget Japanese studios went into that same bullshitty ass direction. And what drove me absolutely insane is this double standard of like, not only can't we, okay, and what made it worse is that in this game specifically, this is the second game. I think people would have been fine if Alloy looked like she did in the first game. But see, once again, it's not just women being in games. The bar had to be moved to women, realistic looking women being in games. That's one of the reasons why I like anime games, because you can't make anime look realistic, because it's just not, because the art style doesn't clashes with human, like normal human features. And I'm 100% cool with that, because that means I don't have to deal with shit like this. But what people don't understand is that we went through like over a decade of that shit, of people constantly attacking our games because there wasn't enough women in it, because there wasn't enough representation of people of color in it, in situations where it didn't make any fucking sense. Like having, what was it? I think, was it Wolfenstein that had that bullshit where like there should be, or was it Call of Duty where they had women or like Jewish women or black women in Call of Duty, and it was like, well, if we're being historically accurate, that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. But they didn't give a fuck because it was women. Now all of a sudden you hit Alloy's like, that doesn't a realistic look. That to me, that's a, what the fuck? That's two completely different bars, and no one gives a shit because it's for the women. It's for the other, because if you're not white and a male, you don't fucking matter. And the problem is that shit bled into games and had no need to do that. And games were constantly getting fucked with. You start and what made it worse is not only were you doing this, because like I said, I don't think people care that women putting more women in video games. You know what the problem was? You were fucking with pre-established characters. It's that and it was all the same stupid ass narrative. It's a woman, men ain't shit, white men especially ain't shit. I'm empowered, I'm strong, I'm the main character, and you would just start fucking with IPs. You got a couple original games, and what made this even worse is that this is a niche audience they're pushing for. Most gamers don't give a fuck about none of that shit. They just want a game that's fun, and if they click with the character and resonate with the character, cool. The funny thing is that you got games like Animal Crossing and fucking Splatoon that kind of just stop acknowledging gender. And it was fine. They just threw, and those were new IP. Well, Animal Crossing isn't, but Splatoon is a new IP. But and what made it worse, and in Prince Revolve, you make up a good point. All of a sudden, we couldn't have attractive women anymore. I'm like, this is stupid. Even if you wanted to make the argument that we need more females in gaming, once again, I don't think people care. You specifically were like, not attractive females though. And I'm sitting in the back like, wait a minute. So you've moved the goalposts. It's not just women now. It has to be unattractive women. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't understand why we can't have both. Why can't we have both? And why are people's first responses to people who say they don't like the design go from like, I don't like Alloy's new face to, well, you don't get any ass. Whoa, you don't talk to girls. Whoa, you don't have a girlfriend. Whoa, you now attacking my personal life over a video game. But motherfuckers want to get on Twitter and act like you were lame for fucking you were lame for having that opinion. Well, then you would clap back with the same opinion, like, well, I think all video game, I think she looks good either way. Well, that's all you had to say. You could have just been like, well, I think she looks good. That's not what it was. I said, I think she looks bad. You think she looks good? That's an even interaction. I'm streaming. Don't come in. I haven't checked. But it was like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But it's like, that would have been where the conversation would normally ended. That's not what happened. It turned into, well, now fucking, well, she doesn't, I think realistic women look better. Also, if you use mansplaining in your conversation, go eat a dick, yo. Like that term has always been trash. Because it was stupid. It was so stupid. But that's besides the point. So what I think a lot of these Twitter users and women don't know is that, like, games have been constantly, and it wasn't even just on that, it was the censoring ship of Japanese games that was somewhat happening with Nintendo, and has currently been happening a lot with Sony in recent years. Our games were getting attacked for all these petty fucking reasons. Oh, her breasts are too big. Oh, she looks a little bit too real, like she looks a little bit too attractive, and we need realistic women representing us. Even Tomb Raider, for God's sakes. Now, I don't think the Tomb Raider reboot is terrible, because I think she still looks like relatively attractive. That wasn't really the problem. Tomb Raider reboot went through the same shit. Tomb Raider went from being like this attractive badass of a woman to like this like torture. I very much believe the first game is torture porn. The first game's main thing, and I almost feel like that's almost some shit in itself. Let's just show women getting fucked up in the most ridiculous ways manner. Like, if you played the Tomb Raider 2013, that game literally was just her getting herself hurt. The whole game, which is the complete contrast to what Laura is in the original old games, where she was a badass. Now, granted, I get it, it's a reboot. She's starting off when she's younger, and she's starting off, like, it's just her starting out. So I got it, but it also felt like you were still doing that, well, men ain't shit, only women can like handle things, and women were like the main focus and characters because that's what we do. And I'm like, how is this any better? You're trying to sell games on gender, just gender or just race. And then you had that shit go on recently. What was it? Far Cry 6, where they were like, we're not trying to make a political statement, even though the game takes place in Cuba, and you're obviously making some level of a reference. Now Laura still looks attractive, so like she's safe from there. But hey, look, the next Tomb Raider game we get, she might look, and let's be real here, she still looks less attractive than her original design because she was being overly sexualized. That was the comments. And so it frustrates me that people don't understand, like, gamers were getting attacked on all sides for enjoying games that had relatively attractive females in it. And so when now I don't necessarily think it's like a woke thing all of a sudden. The woke thing won't really be as offensive. That won't be like a legit complaint until the game comes out. Even that dumb shit in Mass Effect where they were like, in the, what was it, the Legendary Edition, where they were like, we're gonna move the camera up to give less unflattering shots. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, and granted, I understand that at the end of the day, that's not like a huge thing, but it's another one of those things, and that's the problem. Gamers have been constantly fucked with for like over 10 years with this shit, that people get like super defensive every time some small shit happens. Because it always became a landslide. You would do one thing, and then it would lead into another thing, and then it would lead into another thing, and then it would lead into another thing, and then all of a sudden, your new IP, I mean your pre-existing IP has a bunch of shit fucked up about it. And this was all in the name of representation. Oh no, Laura still looks good. I don't want to make that the main focus. Laura still looks good. I'm just saying it was still pushing that narrative like in different ways. They tried to make even, and to be fair, I don't like the way Claire and Jill look in Resident Evil 2. Like Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake, because the problem with Claire and Jill is that you're going for such realism that sometimes, depending on the shot and depending on the situation, and to be fair, I think this is probably the issue with Aloy too, they sometimes look like shit. It's just not like, you don't need characters to look this insanely realistic. The problem is that Western gaming has pushed the narrative, and because Western gaming is one of the fucking main territories where people make the most money off of gaming, of course they want to cater to it, which is why so many games got fucked with or changed or touched in the first place. Oh, what's up, Jamon Smith? I've been uploading YouTube videos, Jamon. It's just I haven't streamed on YouTube in a while. But like, that's where the whole controversy came in. Like, give you an example. Juice, I think, in our chat was like, she doesn't look attractive. But we didn't have to turn it into a weird ass, well, Juice must not get any ass conversation. Like, but that's what we do. We have to turn it into some shaming shit because you can't just handle a man's opinion about she doesn't look that good. When if it was a male character, no one would be this fucking defensive. They're only defensive because it's a female character. Good God. And if she looked like anime, then it turned to, oh look, she's an anime character with exaggerated proportions. What about the realism, y'all? And like I said, the misclick picture is actually fucks her whole argument up. Because Misclick's argument is pretty much the whole, well, she looks like a realistic woman. And then she compared herself with Aloy physically. And then you realize Aloy is supposed to be out here fighting robotic animals and shit. And constantly running around. And you have a skinnier face than she does. That might be an issue. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. That's the other game. How did I forget Mortal fucking Kombat? The same stupid ass shit. For the sake of realism, we gave him proper proportions. Or like proper outfits. And we were like, no you didn't. And like fighting, you would almost, Misclick is a I would say a primarily Nintendo streamer, but she's the most popular in Nintendo channels. And she was being real defensive about the whole Aloy situation on Twitter. And what she did is she posted a tweet of her face and Aloy's face talking about like, I like realistic looking women in my games or something along those lines. Actually, I don't want to Don't let me misrepresent her tweet. So I'm gonna go look up the tweet and read it verbatim, so I don't get any shit about fucking up the tweet. Let's see. Where is it? If she gets wind of this, she probably blocked me. I am following her. That's how I found out. Where is it? When men try to mansplain what the average woman looks like. That was the name. That was the tweet. The tweet was, when men try to mansplain, fucking hate that word because that's just a stupid ass term, what the average woman looks like. And then she shows the picture of her and Aloy, and she looks better and she has a skinnier face than Aloy. And I'm just sitting here in the corner like, yo, what? what was your point? Your point is dumb because you look better than Aloy does in that photo shot. So I feel like even by your standard, let's say you were the average woman, which I'm assuming is what they're going for. I don't even care. I'm not even talking about the gameplay, be real with you. Because like I said, the gameplay, I own the first game and haven't played it. So I don't want to talk about the gameplay. It's primarily about this bullshit where like all of a sudden women don't seem to understand why people get angry when their response to you saying a character doesn't look good is, you must not talk to girls or you don't have a girlfriend. That's their response. That's also assuming that I'm a heterosexual man. I could be gay for all you know. Oh shit, Zobi's in here? What the fuck? I think he's in here because it's a Sony related bashing video. Even though it's not really. Granted, Sony's been on that Western bullshit for a minute now. And I'm not a fan of it. Because Japanese games are king. And you left your fucking market for chasing the Western dollar. Because, you know, there's more money to be made in the West, so let's pander to the West. But this stupid ass like strong women independent thing. It's like, that's a very small crowd who even gives a shit about that. A very small crowd gives a fuck about that mentality. And the people who do give a fuck about mentality isn't the money you're chasing anyway. But like in Revolver, you make the good point. No one says this shit if a man's design gets fucked with. No one says a goddamn thing when a man's design. No one throws out these ridiculous statements when a man's design gets fucked with. But when a woman's design gets fucked with and people have an issue with it, that's like Nintendo announcing Metroid Prime 4, right? And we finally get gameplay footage, and Samus is like fat and not muscular at all. Are the women gonna not say anything because it's a realistic look? Because that's fucking stupid. Also, I'm gonna look up the definition of mansplaining, just so when I talk about it, I can make a good point. The Mortal Kombat 11 thing was stupid. So mansplaining is defined as the explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarding as condescending or patronizing. And the example they use is, your response is classic mansplaining. That's not even a good fucking. So pretty much a man explaining something to a woman in a condescending or patronizing manner. That's being condescending. What the fuck? What is... So mansplaining is literally any man explaining something to a woman in a condescending manner. So if I said, oh, you must be really smart, I don't think you understand how conversations work, that's mansplaining. Even though I just said a whole bunch of nothing. What the fuck? That is trash. That's trash. They put that shit in the dictionary, man. Fuck you, yo. It's literally a word that intentionally goes, anything a guy says, you hoed. You mansplaining. If I even talked it, which is funny because women will talk condescendingly to men all the fucking time. Is femsplaining is a technical word? Oh no, it is. What? Why is this one weird? Femsplaining is the explanation of feminist concepts. An explanation by a woman to a man of a man's experience. Well, at least if femsplaining exists. If you don't do all this shit. Yeah, we're talking about the Aloy face debacle, and what people don't seem to understand, that like my opinion on the character of video, and that's what made me mad, is that you had guys out here talking like the dudes critiquing her face were the ones in the wrong, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. I'm the loser in the situation because I said she doesn't look that attractive anymore, versus the woman who literally told me in response that I must not have a girlfriend, nor do I talk to women, as a response for me saying something about a video game character. But I'm the fucking loser in that situation. What the fuck? When everyone else in any other situation would be like, what the fuck? Why did you bring up real life shit and in gaming? We're talking, that's saying, I don't like the design of the Switch. Oh, you must not have any kids. You must not have a girlfriend. You must not be married. You must not have like a life. And you're just like, because I said I don't like the design of the Switch? What the fuck is going on? How am I the loser in that situation? When you took it to a whole nother level based off of an opinion. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that fixed picture they were going on about. The whole, I think someone like redid her face, but they made her like super hot. And I was like, I like the way she looks in the picture, but I'm also like, it's fucking, like, I don't care about that. I think if you had her look as good as she did in the original game, I think people would be fine. I don't even think people care about that shit. They're just like, look, just make her look as good as she did in the original game. No, so Scrunt, or Scrunt, so the situation is simple, is that like people are just commenting on her appearance, and then people are responding with phrases like, you must not have a girlfriend, you must not talk to real girls, that's not, like, pretty much going over the argument of like, that's an average looking girl, like that's what average girls look like. That seems to be the premise. That if you're critiquing her face and saying it looks fat and she doesn't look as attractive, SHC Grunt, sorry, SHC Grunt. If you critique just her attractiveness as a video game character, the response is your manhood. Your manhood is the response. That's the fucking problem, that it shouldn't all amount to that. It shouldn't amount to that, but it does. I mean, Abby looks like shit too. Abby's another example of that. Just call you Grunt, I'll call you Grunt. Abby looks like that. Abby's another character. That one made a little bit more sense, but she's still not a good-looking character. You can make good-looking buff women. Hey, Jazzy. What's up, Jazz? I haven't done that in forever, yo. I remember I used to do that shit every time Jazz coming to a stream. Hey, it's Jazz. Oh, that cracks me up, yo. How can you prove that someone doesn't have a... Hold on. Let me read it on the actual site instead of reading on all this. How can you prove someone doesn't have a girlfriend or experience with women? It's a cheap tactic to shut someone down. Not different than calling someone a racist. Oh, that's true too. That gets into the same thing. Like I said, modern black people act like it's an accomplishment when they race swap a character in comic books, or like in any, like pretty much where instead of making a new black character, you just pretty much race swap an old one. And I know we got that black Superman thing, and that's a whole nother issue too. Like, why are black people cool with that? It's the same shit as the women. We're like, instead of just making new shit with the women that you want in gaming, which Aloy I thought was it for the most part. She's not anything amazing based on what I've seen, but like, she at least was a new character. Motherfuckers are happy with just people just swapping and you know why they do that? It's because they don't have faith in their own characters, or their faith in their own ability to write said character. Give you an example. You could have used a dozen of black superheroes in comics instead of race swapping Superman. But you want to know why they wouldn't do that? Because they don't have the faith in those characters to sell. Partially due to the fact that they're unknown. Black might play a role in it, but if you really gave a fuck about representation in movies and comics, like black characters in like on the big screen, you would give those characters a shot. Give them a good shot, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, it does. Instead, you know what we do? We'll just use the black. We'll just take and see, that's why you can get away with it with like smaller characters. Give an example. I think Deadpool 2, Domino isn't black, but they made Domino black. But people didn't care as much because Domino isn't that well known. You can get away with it for characters that people don't know about, or people who are less informed. But does it make her a better character because she's black? No, now you've turned it into the gimmick. Oh, that's Black Domino. It's the same thing with Green Lantern. Like, people know Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. But you know why they fucking that's his own character. But they don't want to give John Smith his own fucking well, Miles Morales, I would say Spider-Verse is the best version of Miles Morales, unfortunately. The problem with Miles Morales is Miles Morales technically falls into that same line. It's just a little bit better. The better part is that he's not Peter Parker. That's the better part. But you still have him as the Black Spider-Man. Same thing with fucking like Sam for being the new Captain America. He's just the Black Captain America. Like, we have original black characters who aren't in the shadows of their betters. Like, when you think Spider-Man, you will never think Miles Morales over Peter Parker. It's just not gonna happen. You want to know why? Because Peter Parker is motherfucking iconic. You know who you could have done a movie about and it would have worked fine? Static Shock. So why is it that we're getting Miles Morales shit over Static Shock, which is a character who's been proven? He was so good they bought him. That's how good Static was. But you rather do Black Spider-Man. You rather do Black Superman because it's easier and it's less risky. And black people don't care because they just see black people on the screen and they're like, woo, woo, there's black people on the screen. And I'm like, yo, even the stupid Little Mermaid shit. How accomplished is that, yo? To get, like, I would rather watch Princess and the Frog than to watch Little Mermaid. That's what you could have done. And I think technically Princess and the Frog does the same premise. But at least as a Disney film's already known for kind of like fucking with the original stories that they're based on. So that one may not be the best example, but still, at least that was the effort of trying to do something different versus just taking the same Disney story and casting different races of people. Because even in Doctor Strange, I think Doctor Strange's teacher in that movie isn't originally a woman. I don't even think, yeah, she's not even originally a woman. I think she's like a guy in the comics. But once again, Doctor Strange lore isn't common knowledge. I don't hear that black girl magic. You know why they're race swapping? They're race swapping and gender swapping because it's safe. You can appeal to the small demographic who's complaining about representation without really taking a risk. A black Little Mermaid isn't taking a real risk because it's still the Little Mermaid. It's still gonna be the Little Mermaid. Which is why it doesn't matter if she's black. Like, it doesn't do anything. That's why I don't understand when people talk about, oh, that's representation. So a black version of a character that's literally another character, like, it's the same character, but she's just black. How is that proper representation? Good God almighty. And then you have Black Panther, who is boring in his own movie. Killmonger is the most entertaining movie character in Black Panther. Black Panther himself is not that entertaining. He's more entertaining in Civil War, for God's sake, than he is in his own fucking movie. And then you kill the most interesting black person in the movie. God. Also, Marvel has got to stop doing that, by the way. Marvel has got to stop killing their villains. I was so mad when I got to the end of Spider-Man, what was it, Far From Home? And you killed Mysterio. I'm like, bro, keep the villains alive so you can reuse them. Especially for Spider-Man. The fucking Sinister Six, for God's sakes. Jesus. Black people just want new characters only white people are okay with color swapping. To be honest, I think Spider-Man was also more entertaining than Civil War. You can make that argument. That's fair. He comes back to life in the comics. The question is, are they going to reuse him? Marvel's not good about reusing villains. I think Loki is like the only one. Loki's the only villain they've reused. Everyone else has died. You can also talk down to anyone who disagrees. Hell, me as a Hispanic would love would be super indifferent if there was a Mexican American hero, if his race is the only gimmick. And that's what it is. Because we're in this in the era of like super identity politics, and people are all like overly sensitive to representation and the way, and like seeing a character with their skin color on, like your race is the gimmick, and people don't realize that your race is the gimmick of the race swapping. So now it's not Nick Fury, it's just black Nick Fury. But once again, people don't know Nick Fury like that. That's why people don't give a fuck about it, because it's black, because it's a character no one knows. Superman's gonna cause a whole bunch of problems. I don't even know why they're even touching that. What's up, Blandrew? How you doing, bro? Oh shit, my boy Blandrew in here. Oh, we about to get fucked up, yo. I would love to hear your opinions on the whole Aloy situation. We've been talking about it, kind of turned into a race conversation in movies and video games and comics, but still, I think you're right. You probably already know about the Aloy phase thing. But the question, just so to get you caught up, is with these critiques of Aloy's face going around, do you think it's okay that I come in here and say I don't think she looks as attractive as she did in the previous game, and people's response is, you must not have talked to a girl before. You must not have you don't have a girlfriend. Do you think that shit is like a proper fucking response? Because to me that shit's ridiculous. Wait, what did you say, Grunt? Sorry, I may have missed it. I might actually have to turn on slow mode. Shit. What did you say, Grunt? If someone says there's no such thing as forced diversity, and you tell them the many reasons why it exists, you'll just be called a racist. Oh, that's what you were saying. That's true. I said this on Weapon Wheel podcast just now. She isn't as attractive. She is as attractive in part 2. Exactly. She's not. Also, thank you for the 26 viewers, 25 viewers on a stream I haven't done on YouTube in like so long. I don't even fucking know. But like, that's the point. That's just a normal critique. That's not anything to get mad about. Why are people out here talking about you never had a girlfriend and you never talked to a woman before? What's up, V? How you doing, V? V, baby, what's up, man? Stop being stupid. I'm being so stupid. Well, the internet is giving the public a louder voice. It influenced the dynamic relationships of consumers and products. Now they're trying to appeal to everyone. But you're not gonna do that. Hey man, listen, I don't give a fuck if she's smashable. I don't really care. Like I said, I don't care. I'm just trying to make a point that, like, I've been saying this for years. Sony tries harder to make their male characters more attractive than the females of PlayStation. A lot of their women look like men. Hey, look, and we did just have the fucking, hey, what's up, hipsters? And we did just have Abby from The Last of Us. But they're also trying to appeal to the Western demographic too much, and that's that niche. This shit wouldn't even matter, because the majority of gamers don't give a fuck, right? The majority of gamers don't care if you have women as main characters. The reason why this conversation even came up in the fucking first place is because that small minority got a platform and ran with that platforms, and companies got scared thinking it was gonna make a huge difference, and it just fucked up. It ended up fucking up our games and fucking up our content. And then Sony went on that weird censoring ban hammer for no fucking reason. Then it abandoned Japan like a fucking traitor. And you're just like, yo, this is disrespectful. But hey, though, Ratchet and Clank, though, which doesn't look that, I'm gonna be real with you, Ratchet and Clank does not, I very much believe the Rift Dimension shit comes off as a gimmick for me. But that's me. That's a personal opinion. I'm not saying, I mean, if you guys are excited for it, go ahead. Twitter is unfortunately run by the vocal minority. That's true. It's like that meme. If you say men are trash, you get likes and retweets. Say about it, you're done. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Uncharted Girls looked alright. I didn't have any issues with Uncharted girls. What's up, twin daggers? Most Sony studios in California, most women out there are lesbians. Lol. Well, California is really liberal. My God. California was almost disgustingly liberal. I don't really care about that shit. But yeah, that's the issue. And then just to kind of reiterate the comic book situation, with the recent talk about like Black Superman, just to reiterate for those who are just coming in, that's the other issue. They're fucking like black people and other people of color or different genders or whatever are perfectly cool with gimmick characters whose whole premise is the race or gender or sexuality to represent. No one really wants I feel like people don't understand what true representation is. True representation is taking characters who were initially black and putting them in their own shit. Or making new characters who are black or female or non-binary or gay and putting them in there. But also not making their only trait be that thing. That's like the worst thing about that shit. That blackness has become a character trait. That gayness and non-binary and all that other shit has become the trait. That's become the selling point. Hey, look, there's a black character in it. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta do better than this. When did people's standards get this fucking low? What makes me mad more is about the Black Superman is that DC has yet... Exactly! We haven't even gotten a good fucking, we haven't even gotten a good Superman movie to begin with. Well, not in a while. Not in a long while. Because I don't necessarily give a fuck about... Man of Steel was not the Superman I wanted. Yeah, exactly. It's like people don't like just write proper black characters. And black people stop championing race swapping. That shit always drives me up a fucking wall. Race swapping isn't an accomplishment. That's a gimmick. But no one gives a fuck. Because that shit sounds too fucking racist. Oh, you a self-hating black people. You black man, you just don't want to see black people succeed. I do. But you motherfuckers have your standards so low, you can't accomplish any fucking thing. I don't want to get too much on that. King of Blades, you know the problem with what the Gravity Rush 2 characters are? We'll never see them again because that fucking studio is gone in Sony. That motherfucker is gone. So yeah. The thing is that beauty is a subjective term, but I don't really believe in the thing called unrealistic beauty. Because beauty can be achieved in many ways. Natural beauty does exist. Listen, my issue isn't even whether or not, if you think Aloy is attractive in the game that she's in, like the way she looks now, if you think she's attractive in part 2, good for you. But like, me saying I disagree with you shouldn't turn into attacks on my like lifestyle and who I interact with and who I talk to. When you start, that's my issue. I don't even care if you think she's attractive or not. My issue is that me critiquing the way she looks shouldn't then turn to you going on me about my interest in women. Oh no, I understand, Grunt. I'm just saying in general though. Because that was like the core of the conversation. That's what people were fucking doing. Getting on Twitter and acting like, oh, you never talked to women before. Because you said she doesn't look good. Bitch, fuck you. She looks like my toe. Regardless of what I'm doing at home, she looks like my toe. And that's what happens. You make people spiteful. Some people, that's why people went out of their way to make her look fat. People memed the shit out of her face. Wonder why? Because it started off as simple discussion, then motherfuckers wanted to elevate it to another level. So people went and fixed her face. People went out of her way and made her look like, I forget the girl's name, but she looks like someone took like a really fat girl's face and put it on her, and that shit looks ridiculous. It's hilarious, but it looks fucking ridiculous. Yeah, PC Gamer's gonna mod her to hell. Hell, I'm curious if there's mods for her now, because in Horizon Zero Dawn isn't the first game on PC now, from what I remember. They're going to mod her to death, and people will do it out of spite. You made things worse. Like, that's the problem. You don't fix things by calling people incels and judging them on their lifestyle choices because they don't like the character design. You're not. Do you think you're recruiting people to your side? You're not. Fucking assholes. I'm not even gonna get into some of the other shit that's been going on, like making random cartoon characters gay as if that helps representation. That's another issue that fucking comes up, and that's fucking dumb. Because making, what was it? Was it Blue? It was Blues from Blue's Clues, making her gay. What does that do? That story had nothing, that show had nothing to do with sexuality. It's a children's show that just teaches you about, like, basic skills you need to know, like going into school, like math and reading and comprehension and like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Deduction skills and stuff like that. Like, why her being gay? We mean, well, I don't understand the whole SpongeBob. I mean, I know people made the jokes about SpongeBob being gay, but once again, SpongeBob being gay, what does that do? That doesn't do anything. People are just making characters who weren't originally gay to add to their list. They've just become numbers on a checklist. Blue's gay, SpongeBob's gay, Mr. Potato Head's gay, fucking, I don't know, Woody's non-binary. Like, this is what we're doing. Yeah, Blue from Blue's Clues is gay. Only found that out because there was some recent outrage about, what was it? I think there was like a children's song in Blue's Clues, and it was like, and for like the alphabet they used P for pride, and it was that whole Pride Month shit. And once again, it's like no one really needs to give. You know what Blue's Clues? You know what old cartoons taught me? You know what Arthur taught me without having characters be gay? And great, I think Arthur handled it better, to be fair. Yeah, they made Blue. They made the fucking dog. It's a girl, by the way. Blue's a female dog. That's been a thing for a while now. But they made her gay. And I'm just like, but why though? What does that do? And like I said, it's just another thing to put on the list. Blue's Clues for LBGQTA community. SpongeBob is for LPGTQA community. Toy Story is for LBGTQA community. Where did you send me a message, Grunt? So I know where to look. Is it on Twitter? Like, where is it at? Or is it on like YouTube? I read that today and saw Phil and Lil's mom is. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Phil and Lil Rugrats, LBGTQA community, and I'm just like, why in the fuck? That's all. You know what? It also doesn't make canonical sense. You're telling me Phil and Lil, I think, are like one, right? So you're telling me that now you've made Betty a single mother. What was the message? I think that's probably why people do super chats, so it sticks out. Because sometimes I miss it, but I understand super chats cost money. Let's see. Grunt. It's against the SJWs thinking that unnatural beauty exists and claim that a female character that even looks remotely pretty or beautiful claims it's objectifying. Yeah, like you can't have respectable looking women. Oh yeah, and Hermie. Wait, she made Hermie. Isn't it Hermione? I thought Hermione was white in the movies. Or did she like confirm that she was black? Hold on. I thought she was white in the movies. Hold on. Oh, they recast her as black. That's another thing. It's not, to me, that's not representation. Because you took a character who was already known as one thing. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, let's compare the Rugrats situation. Oh, it's for a play. That's what it was. Let's take the Rugrats situation and compare it to, like, Loud House. Loud House was a new IP. Loud House was a brand new show that had no standards. I have no issue with the fact that, I forget that the black characters' parents are both men and they're gay. Like, and I think it recently came out that Luna's gay, right? Was it Luna? I think it's Luna is the sister who's like, I don't know if it's confirmed that she's gay, but still. Oh, she lied and said she was, yeah. You turned Hermione from a white woman to a black woman because of representation. Clyde, there you go. Clyde's parents are both gay men. I don't have a problem with that. You know why? Because those are original new characters. Those are new characters. Rugrats is a pre-established show that you went out of your way to fuck with for no other reason. The same reason why people got mad with the fucking J.K. Rowling situation. You took a character that was already pre-established to look one way and changed her. And part of it is because the message is getting fucked up. Oh, thank you for the donation, Jamon. I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate the love and support, man. Although I will warn you in advance, for those who may want to donate money, do it through the Streamlabs link in the description, primarily because YouTube ends up taking part of that. So that $4.99, I probably won't see the majority of that. I probably see maybe like $2 to $3 of it. Just letting you know in advance. But I do appreciate it regardless because it's still supporting me and the channel. So thank you, Jamon. I truly appreciate it. Also, if you want to, you can join to be a member of the channel and get emo access like Lightning and Sorosan have. But yeah, like my whole thing is like, yeah, she's gay. They made her gay, and the dad just doesn't exist now. I think me and Tyrone and like TSS ended up watching the first episode of the reboot. It's not a bad reboot, but there are just certain changes I don't care. Like, for example, Grandpa is no longer a World War II veteran. He's like a fucking, like, hippie. They made him a hippie. Takes yoga classes and all this other shit. You wanna know why they did that to him? Because the World War II angle and him being a vet would be, like, potentially problematic. And I'm just sitting here in the corner like, yo, this is dumb. Like, why even remake Rugrats if you're gonna do all these extra changes? But I will say Rugrats reboot has some good jokes in it. It's not trash, but yeah. Yeah, they kept see, and that's the problem. This is why I just said make new shit. If you make new shit, no one gives a fuck. Because it's new shit, and I don't already have a standard for it. If you make a new black superhero, I don't care if the new black superhero is black, because it's a new black superhero. To my understanding, Grunt, it seems to be based on the fact that he's like that Lou could be potentially the old Lou was probably problematic to keep using in the new show. Although I don't necessarily like the new Lou because he's less entertaining. They made him like overly competent, and I don't know how that's gonna play out because Grandpa was a good mixture of like he still acted like an old person. But like I said, there are some good jokes, and some of them do involve him. The adult humor isn't as funny as it used to be, though. I'll say that, though. The adult humor is not as good as it used to be. And it's primarily due to some weird-ass changes. They made, like, some of them don't really matter, and some of them are just weird. I don't know specifically, because I don't think there was a controversy about Lou. I think that was something they decided in the room, like in the boardroom. Stu, I don't know what the situation with Stu is, because in we only watched the first episode. He still seems to be an inventor, but like, I don't know how much of him has changed. The one thing I liked is that Stu was kind of like the fuck up brother, which still seems to be somewhat consistent. And so like he had to deal with like a huge insecurity in proving himself. That's subtle shit in Rugrats most people may not even pick up on, but that was like a cool dynamic. That like Drew was a successful brother, and in a lot of ways, but Stu was like creative. He was the creative type. So even though he struggled more than Drew did, like, I think Grandpa loved them both equally because they were both unique in their own way. Problems are part of life, though. Stories get ruined because everything gets too happy-go-lucky. I get it. I knew you had to add in some conflict. I could also think because the reboot takes place in the current time, so Lou would be young in the 60s, 70s. They turned him into a gamer. What? No, they didn't turn Stu into a gamer. So they just made him irresponsible. I mean, Stu wasn't the most responsible to begin with, but like, the modern era creates some interesting jokes. I don't want to take that away from Rugrats. Like the fucking Tinder thing, the eager Beagle thing they did with Lou. That shit's kind of funny because it led to a ridiculous situation. Stu being a gamer, I'm just like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Some of them choices I'm not overly ecstatic about. I get they were going for something different. I just don't know if it was worth it. I like how this is completely drifted away from the subject, but it's fine. It's the first stream in a while I've done on here. I might do streams on here more frequently since you guys seem to like them. And ironically enough, I get more views on here than I do Twitch. What's up, Ryan? Did I say something wrong or weird? Probably so. It'd be fucked up if I made the thumbnail. If I put, I'm not gonna do it, but it'd be fucked up if I made the thumbnail for this stream. Fucking Aloy and blackface. Oh no! I go to jail for that one. Oh, that's terrible, bro. That'd be fucked. YouTube has a bigger audience than Twitch. Twitch is harder to get yourself known unless like the way they always promote Twitch engagement is to essentially migrate your TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or fucking YouTube audience into your Twitch audience. What was the thing going on with Kwame Brown? I don't know what was going on about it. You have to explain that one to me. I don't follow basketball shit at all. Square does have the real stuff, but they make it attractive women. They do, but I don't know. Like, I didn't necessarily like the characterization. They still can't get proper characterization right in Final Fantasy VII for nothing, yo. Fucking good God Almighty, what they did to 7. Now I haven't played all of 7 Remake. I've watched a good chunk of it. 7 Remake. They made Aerith so waifu bait, it's disgusting. I have watched me and Tyrone have become low-key obsessed with Kevin Samuels. So yeah, I'm very aware of Kevin Samuels. We fucks with it. We just need to get on our shit. We just need to get on our shit as men. We need to get on our shit. That's why I don't give a shit about the reboots. Yeah, the Animaniacs reboot suffers because of it. The problem is that, like, make new shit. The reboots have actually gotten out of hand. Unfortunately, we're now getting to the point where the 80s generation, the 80s and 70s generations fail. Where, like, everything in the 90s is just getting remade because it's like 30 years removed now. Pop-Up Girls was some shit. I'm trying to think what else. Pop-Up Girls wasn't great. Animaniacs is all right, but the problem is none of these are ever better than the original. They might be okay in their own rights, but they're not better than the original, which then makes you sit there and go, well, why the fuck did you make it? Why did you even fucking make it? You know, Final Fantasy VII actually turned up the kawaii bullshit on all the girls. When Tifa's the only one who was kind of in that role. Like, I think Razor Fist described them perfectly. Like, Aerith was supposed to be like kind of like a wildflower with like a little bit of spice to her. Tifa was supposed to be the girl next door, and Jessie was supposed to be dead. Yeah, man, Orion, I know, bro. I just don't, man. I'm fine with. Hey Arnold actually could work as a continuation, but I think at this point, companies need to make new shit. At a certain point, I was 100% down for continuations, but with the onslaught of continuations we've gotten and none of them being good, bruh, even that Space Jam trailer, yo, what in the fuck are we doing? Space Jam, the original Space Jam might be a dumb movie, but at least it was pretty straightforward about what it was. Space Jam was simple. The Toon World existed, and the normal human world existed. Michael Jordan was Michael fucking Jordan. Like, he was himself, right? And so he got out of basketball, and he started doing baseball and golf, and he sucked at it. That's what he was doing, right? And the Toons were doing their own shit. The Toons were like, we chilling, and this alien planet was like, yo, we need new entertainment. Let's go kidnap the Looney Tunes. And the Looney Tunes were like, we ain't about that shit. We're gonna play a basketball game. If we win, you get the fuck out of here and leave us alone. If you win, we become your slaves. And these motherfuckers went and stole the skill from basketball players, and they were like, well, there's only one basketball player left that the Looney Tunes could get help from. Michael fucking Jordan. Let's play basketball to save the fate of Looney Tunes. That was it. It wasn't. Now that's not even complicated. The whole point is playing a basketball game to get the NBA players their skill back and to save the Looney Tunes from getting fucked up and getting dragged off to be slaves. This new one has become this weird, it's a game. We're going to throw in, essentially it's going to turn into Ready Player One. I very much believe they're going to turn Space Jam into Ready Player One. They're throwing in this dumb narrative about LeBron and his son that I'm not going to give a fuck about. Lola looks like, I don't know what they were going for with Lola. Lola doesn't even have the sex appeal she had in the original Space Jam, and she's not the kooky Lola from the Looney Tunes show where everyone likes so much. Now, here's my thing. Lola Bunny, I know, is very controversial for some people. Lola Bunny being the sexy rabbit, I know some people are like, well, that's not like a Looney Tune. That's not really what Looney Tunes are. Looney Tunes are loony. But I liked the gimmick she had, which was that she was like the straight woman. She's essentially Bugs, except once she's in love, she gets kind of kooky, which could have easily led into her like Looney Tunes show version. Like at the end of the first Space Jam, I think Bugs finally gets like the upper hand on her and makes out with her, and then she gets like loopy towards the end of she does that woohoo and grabs the screen and it transitions. That could have been an easy transition to like between movies they started dating and she got more like loony because she's like loved obsessed now. That could have been a good transition, but that would be a little bit too simple. That way both fans would have been happy. Like she's still like maybe she's like really normal around everybody else, but when Bug comes into the picture, he becomes a fucking distraction. And then maybe the movie's one of the plot progression could have been her having to learn how to focus around Bugs so that she plays properly on the court. So a lot of the gags could have been her like being goofy when Bugs comes around. Like that, and that's something I'm just coming up on the fly. I'm bullshitting here. I don't know, so I'm just bullshitting. But that's just something I'm just saying. The new Space Jam doesn't make any sense. True. Character licensing, the company's trying to survive. True. Someone watches black and white sports. I see Red Dragon. I already don't like the CG shit. That's true. I miss traditional animation has died, unfortunately. The best we get is someone putting in real effort into like flash animation. The crazy thing about Lola Bunny is that she was the only Space Jam for a total of 5 minutes on screen time. People complain for no reason. That's true. Lola wasn't that frequent. She only shows up at the beginning of like the recruitment session with the Looney Tunes and then during the game. And then she kind of gains like a crush on Bugs. Even though Bugs was already into her from jump. Lola Bunny is in Space Jam from what I remember. It's supposed to be an attractive tomboy bunny. True. Terrell, that wouldn't work because people would complain about her needing or wanting a man. But she's like that in the Looney Tunes show. That's literally her problem. She's like really kooky and weird, and she's low-key obsessed with Bugs, but she's also really dumb. She's not even really the same character, but still. Nuclear Tech, I love it when writers, producers direct fans to tell fans to go search porn of Lola and that one chick from Mass Effect, but the Puritans keep pushing off the NSW content. Oh, lol. Making it harder for them for the fine set porn of them. Yeah, Johnny Test kind of really pushed Flash. They removed the sex appeal from all cartoons. The joke is that she wants a man. Yeah, exactly. The joke would be is that she wants the man, and if anything, it would turn into what the Looney Tunes show was, where now Bugs is less attracted to her because she's more obsessed with him. So the more independent she would become, the more attractive she becomes to Bugs. But the more attractive to Bugs she becomes, the less attractive to him she becomes. It'd be like a fucked up loop where like she couldn't get too into Bugs because if she did, it turns him off. But if she got less attractive to Bugs, he would be into her, but she wouldn't be. Like a weird, like they're too intertwined. It's just a funny gag to me. Man, NSW artists are godsends, bro. The best thing I love is anytime the best thing about like when you get like some SJW shit, when you get motherfuckers going on there being like, this is how a character's supposed to look. You know what you get? Go on the NSW's tag, the NSFW tag, and guess what? You get all the proper porn. Not safe for work, J-Mon. That's what that is. Not safe for work, and then SFW is safe for work. So, for example, Lola looked less attractive in the new Space Jam trailer than she originally did. So what did that inspire the artist to do? Draw really ridiculous porn of her. Well, then your job was kind of fucked up. Trying to make her less attractive just spurred people on to draw her more lewd. You know, when you just make a character lewd and just stick with it, it's fine. Hell, it worked out for Resident Evil 8. Wait a minute, didn't they ban the skunk? Oh, that was the other thing, Pepe Le Pew. Because he was a sexual predator. Oh, Lord almighty, yo. This new generation of kids are going to grow up on some bullshit, yo. Not even in terms of media, just in terms of mentality. I don't know how does everyone feel about the whole Blue's Clues Pride Parade thing they did. The irony is I like the song. I like the song sonically. I don't necessarily, but like, how do you feel about that they literally made a song going like they canceled a cartoon skunk. But how do y'all feel about the Blue's Clues Parade thing? Where they did a parade, it's like a pride parade. Where like, and it's like the families come marching 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 or 4 by 4. Hurrah, hurrah. The families keep marching in 1 or 2 or 3 by 3. Hurrah, hurrah. And then they would be like, this one has 2 mommies. This one has 2 daddies. This one's pansexual. This one's non-binary. And they all come marching in. Like, that's what they do. They do all that. They did that for Blue's Clues, and I was like, why in the fuck? I think people think that homosexuals and like non-binary and gender neutral and all this other shit and transsexuals are like a huge part of the population. I didn't even meet a transsexual of any sort until I was like a teenager, and that was when I started working like public service, customer service jobs, especially down here in Georgia. In Atlanta, bruh, the amount of dudes looking like women are ridiculous. Some of them that haven't done any surgery. Yeah, for a kid show, it's Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues was all about deduction skills. The whole point of Blue's Clues is that some shit would go on, something would be missing, and then you had to find out the clues to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, gay, non-binary, LGBTQA plus, and then fucking and Blue's a lesbian. How would you know? How would you know? And here's my thing: if people really want her to be a lesbian, you know what they'll do? They'll make fan art. They'll write fan fiction. They'll do all that shit because they do it for every other fucking thing online. For everything else they do that shit with. They do it for Pokemon. They do it for pretty much any anime. They do it for Harry Potter. They do it for fucking Lord of the Rings. I don't know how. That's the other thing. I don't even think how old Blue is, but I'm like, it's adult. Like, why is this being brought up into a kid show? This shit just blows me the fuck away, yo. And it's not even me trying to be uninclusive. I don't really care if you're these things or not. My issue is just like, why are you pushing it in the media so much like it's commonplace? It's not. Now I feel like these people should always have the environment to come out and feel welcomed. I think that's fine. But I've never known a child to be like, oh, I don't like you because you're gay. And if they did do that, you know why they did it? Because their parents were like that. So this content doesn't do anything. You know why? Because who's controlling the content in the house for children? The parents. I don't even know if dogs can be lesbians. It's stupid. Like, I don't know if sponges can be gay. I never heard of a gay sponge. I just never heard of it. Or what does that even fucking mean? Yeah, Blue's Clues has been on for a while. It's just a bunch of shit, yo. It's a bunch of unnecessary shit that went on for way too fucking long. Exactly, because they're not common. I understand people want safe spaces to come out and be their selves, and I think that's fine. I think all that's fine. But the amount of pushing it in the media and acting like it needs to be shown everywhere, and it's funny because like gay people got in trouble for trying to make it sound like their struggle was worse than like racism struggles. And man, you ain't gonna get away with that, yo. It's just not gonna happen, though. It's just not, yo. But hey, you know, I always say I promote free thinking. The one thing I want my nephew to understand is like, listen, you're going to be exposed to a lot of dumb shit. Some of it you'll agree with, some of it you don't. But do not close off your mind. It trips me out that I'm almost 30, and it's crazy how many people my age or younger have already been like, you're not going to change my mind. You're not going to change my mind. This is just what I'm going to think. And I'm like, damn it, that doesn't help society at all. You're supposed to be the next generation. We're supposed to be the next generation of old people coming up that aren't like so closed off. But it feels like it's going to be the same shit. We're just going to be stuck in our ways, and that's it. Yeah, actually, the funny thing is that there's a bunch of old Looney Tunes cartoons that still have like characters like that represent black people in the old timey way, right? And I know some people find that shit offensive, right? I never found it offensive because the show never really went out of. Most of those cartoons don't go out of their way to like make fun of black people. Like there's one where they replace Elmer Fudd with a black Elmer Fudd, and he doesn't do anything racist. It's just a black Elmer Fudd. But because he looks stereotypically black with the big ass lips and the wide nose and shit, and he's like really fucking dark, I know people find that shit offensive. For me, I never thought it was offensive. Because the cartoon was still the same. Bugs Bunny was trolling the shit out of him, scaring him half to death by almost knocking him off cliffs and shit. And it was funny. Now, I know a lot of media back then does go into that, like, that shit. But, like, the core, some of it's just entertaining to me. But I'm also kind of a different dude, I've learned. I'm just a different fucking dude, unfortunately. Actually, I won't say unfortunately, I'll say fortunately. Fortunately, I'm a different fucking dude. So, those who rock with me, who fuck with me, you always get a different perspective because I don't ever subscribe to the same shit. I think the longer I've been on the internet, the less I've subscribed to the same shit everyone else subscribes to. Just to quickly touch on it, and then I'll probably get out of here, is a bunch of Pokemon drama has been going on recently, and and all I understand is that apparently based off the Journeys episode and people shipping Ash and Gary again, the community got really toxic and a bunch of people left. That's one of the reasons why I've stopped doing yeah, that's true, Prince Revolver. It's funny, black people unfortunately are the only race who keep themselves down. We actively keep ourselves down. And I always hate those race talks because I don't like talking about shit. I feel like we've gotten to this point where we judge that we fucking lock down white people like a motherfucker. That we're like, white people, you ain't shit. Unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where now it's cool to be racist against white people. And people have like, that shit's alright. That's not alright. We're doing the same thing they did to us. What are we teaching our kids? It's cool to be racist towards white people because fuck white people. That's what we've taught them. That's what we've taught the kids. Our children are learning fuck white people because we said it because we made it okay. And I'm just like, this is the worst thing. What's up, Julian? But black people actively hate free thinking black people. But that's the reason why you need to become a free freaking black person. Because the African American community in America is not doing you any fucking favors. That community is very open about relying on government assistance. That community is very open about taking advantage of white guilt for their own advantage. They're all about victimizing themselves, acting like everything and every struggle they go through is because of someone else. Those black people are about not taking any personal responsibility for themselves in any way, shape, or form. And those people, in my point, feel like they don't want to better themselves in any way. And listen, I'm not a dude who's walking around acting like my shit don't stick. I ain't shit in a lot of aspects. But I like to think that my mentality at least is something that should be somewhat emulated in the sense of just being willing to have the conversation. Yeah, leftist is also a problem. The fact that black people are very stuck in that mindset of like Democrats will save us even though they haven't saved us at all. That kind of mindset you putting out will have people claiming you as a brainwashed. Of course it will. And then YouTube is also blocking shit. YouTube's like, if you're like, listen, I didn't even give a fuck about Republicans up until the Trump administration. The Trump administration is what made me start listening to Republicans like I really should have been. And not because I'm a Republican, but because they at least offered a different mindset and conversation that was worth listening to. But motherfuckers didn't do that. A lot of us voted for Obama because he was black. A lot of us voted for Biden because he's Democrat. I didn't vote for Biden. I think I've said that before. I voted for Trump. I'm not about that. Biden's gonna be a problem. Like I said, we'll see what happens, but Biden's gonna be a problem. That's a personal opinion, though. I'm not. If you guys disagree, that's fine. I'm just saying, for me personally, Biden's gonna be a problem. But yeah, it feels like black people got pushed into a lockbox. It feels like we were pushed into a lockbox by our own race. So this is what we're about, this is what we represent, and this is what we do. And what irked me is that people always talked about like, people always talked about like what a black person should be. No, people always talk about racism, right? Oh, J-Mon, all right, I'll see you later, bro. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support, bro. I always heard about this racist shit. And, like, I heard about, like, people having such bad experiences with white people. But the irony I always thought is that, like, the most fearful I've been of another individual were all black people. Because I lived in low poverty areas. Like, I lived in, like, the ghetto in some instances. Like, the people I was afraid of were other black people coming to shoot me for shit that wasn't even that expensive. That's the shit I fucking... That's the shit that bothered me. That, like, I was more scared of our own people of our own race. And at the time, I didn't think of it as black people. I just thought of it as motherfuckers down here fucking with me. But when I objectively look at it, it was primarily black people who were fucking with me. It wasn't white people. Some of my best friends are white. Fucking Jesus Christ. But unfortunately, like I said, if you're a red wing, or if you're a Republican, that shit gets shut out. So unfortunately, kids growing up listening to political shit on YouTube don't even get a balance of both, which to me is what you really need. You need to hear both sides of the argument and what they do and do not stand for. Because motherfuckers pretend like all Republicans are racist old white men, acting like they're on a bunch of racist old white men in the Democratic Party. But you don't hear about those. You don't hear about those. And Kamala Harris is a whole other problem. Let's see. Speaking of racism, I saw a video on Twitter about a white leftist man who was saying there is no such thing as racism towards whites. See, and that was the shit I used to hear about racism from black people. Used to be like, if a black person was racist to a white person, they say either that doesn't exist or it's reverse racism. And I'm like, what? And when a why that doesn't make sense, because racism, they make it by calling it reverse racism, it's implying that only that racism is just white people being racist, when racism is just an issue in general. But I don't want to get too much into this because I will get fucking. This shit will get fucked up. This channel will get fucked up, and this stream will get fucked up. So what we're gonna end this. We're gonna talk about the Pokemon situation, which was the episode came out with Gary, and like motherfuckers went crazy. No, she's not black. And a bunch of anti-Pope people left because of the infighting. And it primarily was just with like the shipping community. It had nothing really to do. And I think some of the artistry and art and like shipping. And I was like, guys, and this is for those who ever want to become like YouTubers or just get into that space. Don't ever pigeonhole yourself into one thing. That shit will fuck you immensely, yo. When you pigeonhole yourself into one thing, it makes it incredibly hard for you to get out, especially if you're doing like kid-oriented content, bro. Never just do one thing. Yeah, KG kind of got hoed on that one. Yeah, the white people end up being the ones oppressed, right? You're very much right in that sense. And to me, that's not better. I've always made the claim that black people would do shit the same way white people did shit if the roles were reversed. Because that's not a problem with white people. That's a problem with people. Humans do that shit. That's just what humans do. Humans do that kind of shit. Also just realized that fucking my chat on XSplit is quicker than the chat on fucking YouTube sometimes. That is ridiculous. But yeah, never get caught up. Yeah, don't get caught up in no PokeTuber shit. Oh, yeah, X and Y. Also, considering Journeys has just been a controversial show in general. I'm flipping between racism and Pokemon. How's that shit? Yeah, people are just shit by nature. That's fair. Humans are trash. That's why I've always been the kind of guy who doesn't really care about the whole. Like I like Kevin Samuels, for example. But I never gave a fuck about that whole, like, you gotta leave a legacy by having a child. I never cared about that. I don't know why. Because, like, that shit never meant anything to me. Like, having kids doesn't mean anything to me. I have nothing against children, like, where I don't want them to exist. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I've never cared about that. Like, if I would do anything, I'd probably adopt. And some people always go, why would you adopt? And I'm like, because there are a bunch of children whose lives are fucking ruined by irresponsible dumbass adults who just wanted to fuck and was like, either said it was too late to get an abortion or didn't want to get an abortion and then said they didn't want the baby and waited too long. So now they just had to have the baby and gave the baby up. Have I ever lost friends due to my views? No. Most of my friends are aware of my views. I try to be pretty. Well, I don't know. The Juice of Loose crew, maybe not as much. I know Retro's aware of my views. I don't think Juice and T and Robert are. Or Clocked It for that matter. I know Retro's aware though. But most of my other friends, it's kind of indifference. Like, we don't really focus on it as a conversation. It's kind of like you do you and I do me. And everybody else I don't talk to about it. Primarily because I know it'll lead to these long-winded conversations. And unfortunately, when you live in the South, you really don't want to draw that kind of attention to yourself all the time. It's almost like inviting yourself to get fucked with. But yeah, I don't have a lot of core friends anymore anyway. Like, as far as real life friends, I have like a couple. And I'm honest to them about my views. And I think most of them disagree. Most of them voted for Biden. Most of them don't believe in the shit I believe in. So it's kind of like whatever. So I don't bring it up often. Because sometimes I just don't want to go through all that shit with it. Lightning, that is what Retro's trying to be. Also, go give Retro some support, because I know Retro has been trying to push out content lately, but I noticed like none of his videos recently have hit over 100 views. Oh yeah, they called me. Oh dude, I've been called a coon multiple times. You did. That's what I'm saying. Like, people always talk about this racist shit you've been through with white people. I'm like, black people have said the most shit to me. Save the world, wear a condom. Exactly. YouTube is censoring protection. Lol. You fucking savage. I mean, some of them people just don't care because friendships come first. Yeah, some people don't care. I know it's come up in conversation before with T and them. I just haven't gone through the effort of like making my stance known. Especially because it's always like after a podcast, and I don't want to. And this is the kind of conversation you can have for hours. And I don't want to have that conversation for hours right after a podcast, which I think we're doing early tomorrow. I don't know if Juice gave a time, but we are doing the podcast early tomorrow. Does the word coon even mean anything these days? Yeah, it means you're a fucking traitor. That's what. That's the way. If you were black and another black person calls you a coon, you're a traitor. That's really what coon is nowadays. You're a fucking traitor. You're a black person who doesn't. The funny thing is that if you talk to a white person about this kind of shit, and you don't start off with it, if you start off with it, a white person, I've talked to white people who don't care, but it's also because white people are more expected to be on the Republican side, so of course they don't give a shit. But like, a white person doesn't call you less black because of it. Now, if you run into like a liberal white person or a Democratic white person, that'll turn into his own bag of shit. If you don't if you talk to like a Democratic white person or a liberal white person and you don't start off with it and you just have a conversation, eventually, once you start showing your true views and opinions in that conversation, the motherfuckers can't. They want to they're still suffering from fake ass white guilt, so they can't come at you the way they want to come at you. But they're also like, well, you've just been. That's when you get those the white people trying to explain about how you're confused and shit. Oh yeah, the girlfriend being white, man, you hold yourself. They call you all, bruh. It tripped me out that like the most disrespectful motherfuckers are the ones that are the closest to you. Your family and friends would dog you out for dating a girl of a different race. And it's ridiculous. It's so I had a coworker tell me once, because of how like the way I thought and shit, she was like, you'll probably end up with like an Asian girl or a white girlfriend. Which pretty much just told me, so you're aware that black women are extremely like one-tracked in their thoughts and opinions. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I hate when a black woman recognizes how basic black women are. So that's why she's like, you're too different to be attractive to a black woman. And I'm just like, bruh, what? I'm sorry to hear that, Grunt. I'm like, what is this shit? But she's probably, unfortunately, she's probably right, unfortunately. Black women, unfortunately, have very pigeonholed themselves in this like very simple space. So like any black girl I've talked to, I either find them boring as hell or we end up repeating conversations. Also, don't call me the fucking lolly king, Retro. You fucking insane person. I am not the lolly king by any means necessary. An anime rapper, like I said, I'm sorry you go through that shit, because that's disrespectful, bro. Just because your girlfriend is white does not mean all of a sudden you can denounce that people can denounce your blackness. There's a YouTube channel I watched that I think is really funny called H&SH. Yeah, H&SH Potatoes, I think is what it's called. Like hash potatoes, I think is what it's called. And I like a lot of their comedy skits, but particularly because they don't hinge on black humor. But the one that always irked me was the fucking was the one about the black card, which is like if you walk into a black barbecue and you don't know how to play dice or you don't care about sports, it's like, yo, dog, you about to about to lose your black card. And I'm like, bruh, why do black people do this? Black people are the only race that does that. That takes your race card away from you for not knowing certain things. I'm like, y'all are fucked. If I'm educated, I'm fucked. If I listen to rock music, I'm fucked. If I don't follow sports, I'm fucked. If I don't play NBA 2K or any of that dumb shit, I'm fucked. Bro, you know how even when I talk about gaming with other people, it always boils down to like, oh, you on 2K? No. I don't play 2K. And now I gotta like awkwardly find a middle ground game. The good news is that Sony exclusives are kind of popular. So like I can kind of get away with I was surprised one dude know what Yakuza was. I was like, oh shit. I was talking to him the other day and he was like, yeah, Yakuza. I'm like, oh my goodness. Also, the only reason why I can get away with Yakuza because Yakuza, I'll just say, is Japanese GTA. That's a terrible way to explain it, but that's how I have to explain it. I'd be like, Yakuza's Japanese GTA, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah, multifaceted, we get fucked up. We also get fucked up for saying big words, Dante. Multifaceted? Where you using them big words? Bro, I used the word, what did I use? Oh, what word did I use with my sister the other day? I said, we were talking about buying houses, and I said my friend isn't as, it's the same thing as picky. What was the word? Not picky, but it was, I can't think of the word. God damn it. Nah, I'm stupid. What the fuck was the word? She was, where he was like, I was like, it wasn't specific. It was like, what's the fucking word? Also, by the way, life lesson, always hang out with people smarter than you. Always hang out with people smarter. I remember when I got a kid, I got looked at crazy by my black friends for not liking 2K. Having a higher than above reading average level. Yep. Was it anal? It wasn't anal. Oh, what was the fucking word? I was like, because I was like, I'm more picky about that kind of stuff. But I didn't say, was it stingy? No. God damn it. It's going to make me mad. I would say persnickety. That's hilarious to me. Was it peculiar? I hope it wasn't peculiar. I don't remember the word because I literally just said it casually. No, it was a word that what people would view as a big word. I wouldn't view it as a big word, but people view it as a big word for some reason. But the statement was like between me and my friend, I'm more that he's not as. Hold on, give me a second. It's gonna bother me. That's why I need to know. It also makes it. It wasn't peculiar. It wasn't persnickety. It was. Fuck, I can't remember. I cannot remember. I'll probably end up using it later on. I'll remember as soon as the stream is over. Which is going to piss me off on a personal level. But I can't think of what it is. I'm looking right now. Was it meticulous? It might have been meticulous. I'm skimming right now. It might have been meticulous. But it wasn't a word that was like overly crazy. It was like to me it wasn't nothing big. Well, I say this as I can't remember the word, but I think it was meticulous. But it was like a really basic ass word, and I was like, to me, that I don't view as diabolical is not even the same thing, anime rapper. Diabolical is like fucking evil. you diabolical fiend. I've actually never looked up diabolical in the dictionary. A lot of this shit I just learned by the one thing I'll say through private school. I had a more varied sense of language. Like my speech patterns were more varied because I went to a private school, barring everything else. But so I do appreciate it for that, if nothing else. Also, Dragon Quest 1 through 3 is on fucking sale on the eShop right now, by the way. Devilish is like sexy. It's not sexy. Have a devilish smile, kind of like an evil-ish. You know, now we just turn this into like a fucking lesson, and I'm not doing that. So now we're just being ridiculous. But I think I'm probably gonna end the stream. I'll give you guys like 10 minutes to ask some questions. I'll be right back. I need to grab another water. But shoot out a couple questions and I'll be right back. I can grab me a water. And then I'll read those. Oh, what? I was about to say, we about to fight. What the hell? The private school experience was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. Unfortunately, I didn't connect with a lot of people in private school, and it has its own set of dangers, but I think overall it is safer than public school. And I hated mass. As someone who isn't religious, mass sucked. Ash Wednesday sucked. All that dumb shit. And you had to go to church like almost all the time, it felt like. Even on our senior trip, we went to Disney World and we still had to stop at like St. Augustine for like mass. And I was like, this is bullshit. I have no interest in that. What's a good fan service anime that's on Crunchyroll? A good fan service. It depends on old or new shit. I'll be real, my anime watching is nowhere near as good as it used to be. Also, don't watch shit on Crunchyroll. Watch it on Verve. Because at least then you get the Sentai stuff. The Sentai stuff very much helps with Verve a lot. Mayo Chiki I liked a lot. Monster Musume I liked a lot. Let's see. I haven't really watched the good fan service anime. A good fan service manga I've been reading is 100 Kanojo, which is my 100 girlfriends really, really, really love me. That manga's been goated for me personally. But that's the manga. I haven't really watched a lot of good fan service anime recently. How is charter school? That's my question. Cause I damn sure haven't watched that. I mean, I definitely sure haven't been in that. Not Please Teacher. What is it? Waiting in the Summer was good. Although I don't really call that ecchi. Devil's a Part-Timer was entertaining. I'm not a huge fan of... When Supernatural... Well, that's a harem, but it's not really fan servicey. What is it, your thoughts about Kodakawa wanting to aim for make 40 animes in a year time? Why? That's so fucking much. Well, how much do they make now? I guess is a better question. How much do they make now versus how much they're trying to make? That'll give me more content. I can tell you I rarely watch anime content right now. If you're focused on strictly gaming now, right? I mean, not strictly gaming. I still watch anime, but it's been more like the mainline shows. It's been more like adaptations. Like when JoJo comes out, that's being watched. When My Hero comes out, I watch that. When Black Clover was airing, I watched that. But I've been trying to skim through some new... Also, just the new shows airing have not been interesting for me personally. I think they're making another Tiger and Bunny season. That's 100% getting watched. I wanted to watch Shaman King, and they fucking got that on Netflix, and now I gotta deal with that shit. I'm watching The World Ends With You anime. I'm watching some stuff. It's just it's a lot of adaptations or things I've already seen, or things that are already I'm already invested in. How do you feel about anime blacking out flashy scenes I never saw before My Hero? At first, I thought it was my TV until I researched it. It bothers me to no end. When you say flashy scenes, you mean like fan servicey scenes? Because they don't, or like grotesque scenes. I know they do that. I know they do that a lot with with gore. They black out gore on, and that's primarily because you're watching the TV version. Oh, they did 33 last year. That's not a huge deal then. Going to 40 isn't too crazy. They need to pace themselves. That's the main issue. I think they need to pace themselves. Also, when Dragon Maid starts back up, that's getting watched. Dragon Maid's a decent fan servicey show. Although I just don't. The dub can go eat a dick, unfortunately, and that's Funimation's problem in itself. Because fuck you, Funimation. As I subscribe to your fucking shit, their service is fine. I just don't care for some of the dubs. But they also started getting Viz shit, and that kind of made me go. During Shoto's Final Blast, they make the screen completely dims in the new intro. You're probably talking about that white flash that happens when it's supposed to be like an effect, especially with that flash fire thing where it's like pretty much. I mean, that's just an anime thing. That's just an anime thing. You're talking about essentially it's kind of like, oh, here's the clash, but instead of showing the clash, they show like a flash. I know what you're talking about. Redo a Healer, I have no interest in. I fucking started watching I think I was skimming the manga. Isn't Redo a Healer what I think it is? The guy gets overly abused, and then he goes back in time, so he knows what's gonna happen to him. So he takes advantage of it. Yeah, and then he fucking the problem with Redo a Healer is that Redo a Healer is a revenge story. But it's a revenge story where the main character is almost as bad as the characters he's getting revenge on. They're all dicks. The entire cast, the show goes out of its way. It's essentially a harem with characters who fuck with him, or he's fucked with them. Also in the manga, he has sex with them all the time. So I'm I don't know how the anime did it. And they dubbed this. No, they didn't dub this. The redo version is probably the uncensored version. Redo the rape anime. The uncensored version shows pretty much everything. Alright. You're gonna buy Snafu Season 3 when Sentai releases it? Yes. They dim down during the intro so people don't get seizures, I believe. Oh, that makes more sense. Did you care that Sentai dubs back in the day, maybe early 2010s? Something I always felt. Sentai dubs are very inconsistent. That's my problem with Sentai dubs. Sentai sometimes gives you good shit, and sometimes they fuck up like hell. Sentai is just all over the place, and that's what irks me. Some dubs I'm perfectly cool with. Others, I'm bro. Infinite Stratos, I actually like that dub. People don't like that dub because they actually they went the extra mile. So Infinite Stratos has characters from different countries. In the Japanese version, I don't think they're putting on accents. In the English version, they are. So Charles is from France, so she gets a French accent. Chinese and Japanese don't get accents at all. The British, if you're from London, you get an accent. And if you're German, you get an accent. And I was But yeah, my issue also, Mayo Chiki's dub is pretty good. I like Mayo Chiki's dub. Monster Musume's dub was good too. High School of the Dead's dub is good. R.I.P. to the creator. I'm mad. I wish they would adapt at least the mall arc in the goddamn manga. The mall arc in the manga for High School of the Dead is already done. The anime the manga stopped a little bit after it. But God, and I'm sad that show kind of got cut off due to the death. So that one's just in hell. I think what's the other one he did? What was it? Triage? I forget what it's called. That one's hoe too. What the hell are you doing here, teacher? It's a good series. I haven't watched that one. I've heard of that one, but I haven't watched it. No Game, No Life was entertaining. That one's kind of a fan servicey series. Only watch Sentai anime in Japanese. Funimation dubs are usually okay. My problem with Funimation dubs started doing fucking politics in their shit, which made me not want to watch it. That's like my biggest problem with fucking Funimation. Funimation. Also, I don't like certain voices. Funimation will have dubs that are like 90% cool, and then there'll be some bullshit in that last 10%. Like, for example, the Dragon Maid, I cannot stand Lakoa's voice. It's almost like they forgot that, like, her whole premise is that she's kind of like a mother type character. But in the dub, she's like a blonde bimbo. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I fucking hate it. Also, Dragon Maid also has its own little bullshit propaganda in it, so that didn't help. I'm actually skimming through a couple of Sentai shows right now. By the way, get Verve. Don't get Crunchyroll. Get Verve. 110%. Get Verve. There was a couple other shows I watched. I think it was Samurai Girls. I thought was entertaining. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing great, but it's all right. What else? I don't see a lot else. There's a couple I haven't watched that I need to watch. Square Girl was entertaining, but it's not a fan service show. And there's a couple of old ones that I think TSS. Yeah, the anime ends right before the mall arc, and the mall arc is fully finished. That's why I said at least adapt the mall arc, if nothing else. That's just free money to be made. I'm actually skimming through some shows. Isn't it weird that they use ecchi for promoting politics? Like My Girlfriend Is a Gal. That one pissed me off because that show, granted, that's not the dub's fault. That show was trash in Japanese too because they didn't fucking adapt it correctly, dude. That's actually like it's a harem, but it's also like a cute romance story. And they fucked that shit all the way up, yo. Because they added more harem elements to the anime. The anime is more harem than the manga is. I'm like, fuck. That one just makes me mad off of principle. Because that was a better show that got hoed. Skimming through the other shit. Ah, there's Elfen Lied. I haven't watched Elfen Lied in years, bro. Damn. No, it's like during the animation they add this low opacity black screen. The flashing of the attacks doesn't cause seizures. Apparently they don't do it for streaming services. Yeah, you're probably watching the TV version, Retro. The TV version of the anime usually has some changes to it versus the uncensored Blu-ray version. So, like, for example, I watched JoJo. JoJo does that thing where, like, especially in part 4, when they start cutting off limbs and shit. Elfen Lied is a mindfuck. Elfen Lied was something I watched at 16 and I shouldn't have watched it. But yeah, fucking JoJo does that thing when you cut off limbs, they don't want to show the inside of the limb, so they'll black it out. They did that with certain fan servicey shots. Fan service, it's either the white beams of light or it's the fucking darkness. I'd rather it be. I kind of prefer. Well, if you can get creative about your censoring, I tend to enjoy it more. I actually probably say I prefer I think I prefer the white beams, unfortunately. The darkness just seems weird, too weird to me. I'm actually skimming to see if there's any other fan servicey shows. Like I said, Infinite Stratos season 1 and 2 is pretty entertaining. I don't really have anything against either of those. I didn't watch Camphor all the way. Camphor requires you to be into gender bending, which I'm not against, but I also wasn't in love with the premise. So I watched like the first episode of Camphor. To Love Ru is another show where I watched like the first couple episodes and then never touched it again. Those shows just didn't click with me. And that was before all the weird shit happened. Domestic Girlfriend, I haven't watched that one. Mayo Cheeky, like I said, is really good. Madaga's kind of a fan servicey show, but it's technically a shonen, but it has fan service in it. Once again, that's another show I was like, fuck, why didn't they do the other seasons for? Because my fucking Madaka gets better as time goes forward. Like, every arc in Madaka is almost an improvement. Mysterious Girlfriend X was really good. I read the manga for Mysterious Girlfriend X all the way through. That's a really good series. I own that one. Snafu's great. My Love Story is just cute shit. Like, that's all I can explain for My Love Story. My Love Story is just cute fucking shit. Fuck Needless. I could give a fuck about Needless. Needless did nothing for me personally. Queen's Blade is like the queen of ecchi. But I never sat down and watched like a legit episode, like a legit series for it. Iki Tosen's also in the same boat. I know it's like it's another queen of ecchi, but just never sat down to watch the whole fucking thing. Penguin Drum is a shit show, and I fucking hate it. For the longest time, I wanted to do an episode. That one and Glass Slip. Glass Slip and Penguin Drum are like some of the worst shows I've ever fucking seen. And I wanted to sit down one day and make like a video on them. But that, at this point, it would require me to rewatch both, and I don't want to fucking do that. Rail Wars. Rail Wars was pretty mediocre. It's just a very generic train-based fan service show. Nothing crazy about it. It just kind of exists. What else? Samurai Girls is fine, but it's also very basic fan servicey show. Nagaro, I haven't. Everyone keeps telling me to get into Nagaro. I just haven't. It just doesn't click with me personally. No offense for those who enjoy it. It just doesn't click with me. I'm skimming the rest to see. There's a couple of shows I would need to watch, and I just haven't gotten around to watching. Like the fucking Familiar of Zero. I have yet to watch that series. Oh, Kawaii Complex. Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior. That one was alright. I enjoyed that one. It's a pretty cute show. Pet Girl of Sakuraso was very emotionally conflicting for me. Cause like sometimes I would enjoy it and sometimes I wouldn't, bro. I don't know how I feel about that one. The World God Only Knows, I have yet to watch. I know that one's pretty highly regarded. To Love Ru, never really couldn't get into. Tri-Age, it's Tri-Age X. That's the other one from the High School of the Dead creator. That one's probably in limbo hell. Probably worse than High School of the Dead. Because I think that one was made after. Waiting in the Summer was pretty good. I enjoy that one. But that one's more of like a romance show with very light fan service. I would love for them to do more Watsumote. Don't know they ever will. But that's another show. I heard it gets better. Watsumote unfortunately gets into like torture porn territory in a different way. And I need progression. Like, at a certain point, I just start feeling sad. We Never Learned, I read the manga in the early parts for. If you want, like, Nisekoi with better endings, that's what that is. And I think that's it. I've been so far out of the anime I didn't recognize in the last 20 names. Man, I need to get myself back together. Data Live is a good harem series. I haven't watched that one. I need to try that one out. But I think I've gone on long enough. I kind of went on to like this long anime tangent, and I shouldn't have done it. I'm still streaming. Give me like 10 minutes. No, I'm coming down there in a minute. All right. But with all that being said, I lost a bunch of viewers because we started talking about anime and things got really random towards the end of it. So, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you, Sora-san and Lightning, for becoming members. If you guys become members, I'm going to add more emotes. I have more emotes. I didn't realize I had unlocked more emotes. So I'm going to put some more emotes in for the YouTube. Probably try to do some more YouTube streams because it seems like you guys respond well to them. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the memberships. And yeah. And thank you for just watching and viewing. This video is going to be very interesting when people sit down and watch the full stream. If they watch the full stream. If they don't, good. If they do, well, I'll know in the comments section. Sorry, unfortunately, I wish I could rate people like I do on Twitch, but this isn't Twitch, so Twitch doesn't want me to like. So YouTube doesn't want me to share the love, unfortunately. But I think there's something in the settings I can do, but I don't know what it is, and at this point, it's not worth it. Just thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Hope you guys enjoy your Memorial Day tomorrow. Juice is loose tomorrow, and I might be on the Polka Pot tomorrow because they both seem to be going early. I don't know, but I might. So yeah. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support, and I will catch you guys later. Life's a game. Play to win, and I will see you all later. Peace. All. I'm about to die in this bitch.